Drive Track 10 is considered to be the first driving game ever and was also the first to use ROM memory. It was released in 1974 by Atari. It had a black and white CRT monitor and was controlled using a steering wheel, a 4-position shifter, and 2 pedals. It's a single-player game in which the player races against clock around a 2D track to gain points. The car, which is the only vehicle on the track, shouldn't touch the pylons. The black patches are oil slicks in which the player doesn't have control over the vehicle. Pole Position was released by Namco in 1982, although Namco licensed it to Atari shortly after release. Racing like we know it nowadays was started by this game. For the first time, the player, who is still a single player, has artificial intelligent cars to race against, and is a game based on a real racing circuit. Avoiding hazards and other cars will earn you extra time. First lap is a qualification lap in which your time determines your starting position. Color graphics and much higher resolution than before can be seen. The sit-down version of the game uses separate accelerator and brake pedals, while the upright only uses a single pedal. In 1987, Namco produced Final Lap, the first arcade game that allowed multiple machines to be linked, allowing multiplayer races up to 8 players. The gameplay is similar to Pole Position. Players can bump their cars into each other without explosion, which is exceptional for games at that time. It allows players to try to make others spin around. The game was released in both sit-down and upright style cabinets, with a steering wheel, 2-position shifter, and 2 pedals. Downshifting and braking is very important in this game to keep control over the car and the curves. The cheat or bug in the multiplayer game was that the computer cars are less frequent and allow better lap times. In 1988, Atari introduced Hard Driving, the first arcade driving game that included force feedback as well as 3D polygonal graphics. This is the first game where the wheel actually fights the player when he takes aggressive turns. It's also featured a crash replay camera view. The game is started by turning the key after they have selected either an automatic or manual transmission, inviting players to test drive a high-powered sports car on a stunt course. New is that players can select the track they prefer by taking different off-ramps. On the stunt track, it's possible to jump the drawbridge or drive a 360-degree vertical loop. In 1990, the Papyrus Design Group produced their first attempt at a racing simulator, the Indianapolis 500 The Simulation. It offered advanced 3D graphics, setup options, car failures and handling. This customization of settings makes the behavior of the car during the race or the qualifying phase to be completely different according to the adjustments made. The game is also known for its spectacular and entertaining power-ups. Midtown Madness is developed for Windows by Angel Studios and published by Microsoft in 1999. The goal of Midtown Madness is to win street races and obtain new cars. The game offers an open-world recreation of Chicago in which players can explore the city through one of several modes and can determine the weather and traffic conditions for each race, which is in contrast to the common restriction of racetracks at that time. The game supports multiplayer races over a local area network or the internet. Grand Theft Auto isn't the first racing game in which violence is used. Road Blasters, an Atari game in 1987, already involved some shooting. But the game has been seen as controversial for its violence and sexual content. In comparison to most other racing games, characters are important and the game becomes a blend of multiple games integrating, for example, first-person shooters elements. Noted should be that it isn't the first game to combine elements of action, shooting, and multiple vehicle driving in a 3D package. That was Hunter in 1991. Thank you for your attention, and I hope you have enjoyed my short overview of the development of racing games.